I am still getting over the fact that the Traitors Season 2 has came to its end, and it was amazing. I have been waiting for Series 2 since the end of Series 1, and I'm so glad that we finally got it. But it all begs the question of which series of the UK Traitors is better? Is it Series 1? Or is it Series 2? Well, today we're going to be versing these two series against each other in different categories to see truly which series is the best. Now, this is just my own opinion. You can very much disagree with me, and I want you to tell me down below in the comments which series is your favourite. So let's get on with the categories. So the first category I have is the biggest betrayal, because the whole point of the Traitors is to see who betrays one another and which series did this best. Now, throughout all of these categories, we're going to have slight biases here and there because Series 1, we'd never seen the Traitors before, and so everything was kind of brand new. Series 2, we'd already seen what's happened in Series 1, and so Series 2 had to try and up that, and so it's going to be kind of harder for that. But betrayals were massive in both series, and they were some of the best moments of TV. In Series 1, we had the massive twist of Wilf turning on Alyssa, where he literally says, "I'm going to do something different," and then we see Alyssa's shocked face, and I remember watching this for the first time, and it was incredible. Seeing a traitor turn on a traitor was something that we'd never seen before, and it was incredible seeing that betrayal. And Alyssa's face when she begins crying and has to reveal that she's a traitor, it makes Wilf seem like he was a faithful, and it was such a brilliant idea. And like I say, we'd never seen anything like that done before, and I remember being on the edge of my seat whenever I saw that, especially since it ended on Amanda's final vote, and she also voted for Alyssa. It was just brilliant. But then the betrayals in Series 1 carried on further, because Amanda even said to Wilf, "You better not try that act on me," and then what so happens? Wilf ends up betraying Amanda in another brilliant turning event of betrayals. And I think the final biggest betrayal of Series 1 was definitely when Kieran decided to turn on Wilf. And we saw in the finale, Kieran and Wilf both basically battling out with each other, and the other three sitting there thinking, maybe these are two traitors, and no faithful had suspected at all that Wilf was a potential traitor. And then at the very end, Kieran basically framed Wilf, and I think the reason why Wilf didn't end up winning was because Kieran betrayed him at the last minute, and I thought that is the biggest gut-punching betrayal of Series 1. So Series 1 had amazing betrayals. Series 2 also had some great betrayals, but I didn't think they were as good. I'd say the one that was on par with Series 1 was Harry turning on Paul, because throughout all of the episodes, Paul had been so cocky and confident and thinking that he was leading the traitors and was always in control. Little did he know that Harry actually had his plans of his own, and when Harry decided to turn on Paul and just give the Faithfuls all of this information, and the Faithfuls actually believed that he wasn't a traitor, and Paul was just like shell-shocked, it was absolutely brilliant and a great way for Paul to finally leave the show. The rest of the betrayals, however, weren't as big. Ash was quite an easy traitor to get rid of, and I think the Faithfuls would have got rid of her anyway, so there wasn't really much betrayal going on there, even if Paul did do a plan for that. Miles, there wasn't really much of a betrayal either, because Claudia had kind of told everyone that Diane had been poisoned, and basically the Faithfuls worked out that it was Miles regardless from that. Ross wasn't really much of a betrayal because Harry and Andrew brought Ross in purely so that they could get rid of him, and Andrew at the end tried to betray Harry, but definitely did not do what Kieran did and failed quite miserably. So I'm going to have to give the biggest betrayals to definitely Series 1. So Series 1 wins this category. The next category we have is missions. Missions make up probably the bulk of each episode, and the issue is, with Series 1, I really can't remember much. I can remember the sheep farming one, and I didn't really like that one. I can remember the final mission, that was good. And then the one that really stuck in my mind was the red laser one, where they had to climb through the lasers as if they were in a spy movie. I thought that mission was really good. Series 2, however, I thought had a much better missions. Also because in these missions, they had an extra added bonus of, can we find the shields as well? And so it added a bit more tension between the teams. And I also thought that the missions were just bigger and better, which is what you need for a Series 2. I mean, Diane walking to her own funeral, you can't get much more iconic and great than that. That was an amazing mission. The cabin mission, where they ended up kind of doing like an I'm a Celebrity type of task, where everything was going wrong in the cabin and people were having to crawl underneath the cabin and in tunnels, in really tight spaces, in the pitch black. And that, of course, led to Harry getting the shield. That was a great mission. Some of the trap missions in where they had to answer questions and basically all of the team got trapped apart from Andrew. The target mission, just all of these other missions, they were really, really cool. So I'm going to give missions to Series 2. Next, we have big twists, because this show is full of massive twists. Series 1, because we didn't know what was coming, it already started off with a massive twist where Claudia lined up all of the contestants in a row, and Amos and Kieran were then sent home before they'd even stepped foot in the castle. But then that wasn't the end of that twist, because then they returned. I'm so glad that they returned, because Amos and Kieran, especially Kieran then being named as a traitor, were great twists and kept the show really interesting. We also had the other twist of Alex and Tom being girlfriend and boyfriend.
Alex isn't a traitor, straight up. She's my girlfriend.
And the kind of twists and turns that that led to, and also led to some really hilarious round tables, especially when Tom basically made everyone believe that he was a traitor. So there were some great twists and turns in Series 1. In Series 2, there wasn't as many. I think the biggest one was definitely the Diane and Ross situation, where it revealed that Diane was actually Ross's mum, and Diane is just hilarious for that, and all of those fourth wall breaking moments between the two of them were really funny. But apart from that, there wasn't really much other twists. I suppose the other twist was that the shields were then part of the missions, but they weren't as big of twists as in Series 1. So for that reason, I'm going to give Series 1 this win. Next, we have the characters themselves and the relationships between the contestants. Now, Series 1 had so many great relationships forming between each other. You, of course, had the literal relationship between Alex and Tom, but you also had the relationship between Alex and Matt, and when the twist of Alex and Tom came to the light, seeing Matt feeling really sad and quite depressed by the fact that he thought he might have a shot with Alex was brilliant character development, and I absolutely loved it. There was also Hannah and Wilf's relationship, which was so special and iconic, and it's what made the finale so emotional when Wilf had to reveal to Hannah that he was a traitor, and you'd see that huge betrayal between it. Maddie just absolutely hating on pretty much everyone and suspecting everyone was great character moments. You had Amanda being everyone's mum, especially a mum to Theo. That was a great relationship. And you just had Meryl being blind to absolutely everyone and basically thinking that everyone was faithful. The characters in this series were brilliant and iconic. In Series 2, you also had quite a few big characters. Paul was probably the biggest character out of everyone, being really cocky, being really confident, and that was a great moment to see that. You had Molly and Harry's relationship, who I think are the equivalent of Hannah and Wilf for Series 2, and seeing them grow really, really close as like a brother and sister type relationship, and then seeing the betrayal and Molly having to leave at the very end when Harry does reveal that he is a traitor was so good, and what made that twist so brilliant was the close relationship that had grown and the bond between them. You also had other relationships like Diane and Ross, like we've discussed, Diane and Paul, and Diane basically being everyone's mum as well. However, I just think Series 2 didn't have as big of characters as Series 1. And so for that reason, I'm going to put Series 1 as winning this category. And finally, we have iconic moments. Now, there were some great iconic moments in Series 1. Like we've said in this video, Wilf pleading at the end to say that he isn't a traitor and Kieran completely throwing him under the bus was brilliant. You, of course, have the iconic moment of Maddie going around and naming everyone who she thinks is a faithful and a traitor and who she's not sure of. I mean, that was memed over the internet so much. It was hilarious.
Faithful, not sure, traitor.
And in Series 2, you also had loads of iconic moments. Diane being Ross's mum and revealing that she is Ross's mum instead of Paul's mum is iconic. That has also gone viral over the internet for so many reasons. Ross breaking the fourth wall to the camera when everyone is saying that Diane is their mum and Ross is like, no, she's actually my mum. Diane attending her own funeral. I mean, you can't get much more iconic than that. That was incredible. And Harry winning at the end was so iconic because when Molly had to leave and cry and Harry's just sat there kind of like awkwardly sitting because he's meant to be happy but he doesn't feel happy, and he like screams saying that he's the best traitor ever, is just so iconic. I absolutely loved it. So for that reason, Series 2 is going to win for iconic moments. And so it was a really close tie. However, Series 1 just wins it for me as to which series of the Traitors UK is the best. What did you guys think of this? Which series do you think is the best? Let me know down below in the comments. And what were your favourite moments from each series? Let me know them down there as well. And as always, we've been here on Gated Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.
I'm losing my mind in this ghost town.